afternoon. We'll bow our heads for a prayer. In the name of the Father, Son, and the Holy Spirit. Oh, Lord God, bless this mayor and our mayor pro team and the council and the clerk and all the people in the city, the police department, the fire department, the first responders. And bless all the workers here that make the city happen, make things go. And bless the schools we got. We have good schools here in Allen Park. And bless all the residents here that they understand what the city has to do. And we want to thank Jesus, and we'll all say amen.
All right, Councilman Schlack.
Present.
Councilman Valerius has asked to be excused. He may be coming shortly. Councilwoman Sect.
Here.
Councilman Lloyd.
Present.
Mayor Pro Tem Lally.
Here.
Treasurer Armstrong.
Present.
And Mayor McLeod.
Here.
We have a quorum, madam.
May I have a motion for approval of the agenda?
Motion.
Motion by Mr. Schlatt.
Second.
Second by Mr. Lally. Are there any corrections, additions, changes? Hearing none, may I have the vote? All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion is carried. We have a motion for approval of the minutes for January 14th, 2020.
So moved.
Motion by Mr. Lloyd,
Second.
second by Ms. Site. Are there any changes, corrections? Hearing none, all in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion is carried. At this time, would like to ask that we take a moment to remember our former councilman, retired policeman, a superb volunteer and asset to the city of Allen Park. If we could just bow our heads. Thank you. I'd also at this time like to ask if anyone on council would like to comment about Mr. Stites.
My friend, colleagues, Bob Stites. I have known Bob through all of our hard volunteer work over the years in this great city of Allen Park. However, I really got to know Bob more when he was campaigning for city council. That's when he became a great friend. I wish that friendship had happened sooner. In addition to all his volunteer work, Bob proudly served and protected the citizens of Allen Park for many years and ultimately retired from the Allen Park Police Department. Also, he was a veteran of the United States Army. Bob was a prince of a guy and will truly be missed. My deepest sympathy to Bob's wife, Melissa, and their family. May his soul rest in peace. Godspeed.
Thank you, Tony.
I first found out about Bob Stites when I was campaigning for this particular position. I was driving around the city of Allen Park, and I started seeing Bob Stites for council signs all over the city, and I started getting nervous. Like, man, I got to get these signs out there. I've only, unlike Councilman Lally, I've only known Bob a very short period of time since I've been in this role. And in that short period of time, he has profoundly and deeply impacted me. One thing that I will take away from his legacy is just the sheer love and passion that he had for this community, which was absolutely relentless and genuine and pure. He constantly wanted to do better for this city, and I know that when he ran for this council, it was for the reason that he thought that he could do a little bit more to make this a better place. And so I'm going to dedicate myself here to do my best that I possibly can, which I know is feeble, to carry on his legacy. Because he truly was a great man, always had a smile on his face, was always positive, and was always doing great things for this city. So again, although he is no longer seated here with us, I know that he very much has made an impact on this council and has made a tremendous impact over this city. And we are truly blessed to have had him as a council person, a police officer, and a citizen of the great city of Allen Park. So you'll be missed, Bob.
As for myself, I find this all a little bit surreal. It's hard to think in 3 months we've gone from campaigning to being sworn in to having a few meetings to be celebrating the holidays, and then Bob falling ill and passing away. And it's only been 3 months. And like the others, I did not get to know Councilman Stites very well. I do know that our daughters used to have a lot of issue because they're both Sarah Syke and Sarah Stites. They would get called down to the office often for the other person. And the thing that I take away from Bob, not knowing him but as well as some of the others, is that I do know that he always, and you could always tell that he had the best interest for every single resident of Allen Park. And so my deepest condolences again to the family. And it is my prayer that Councilman Stites rest in peace, and may God's perpetual light shine upon him. Thank you.
Well, I just want to send my dearest condolences to Bob's family and really go out to say, like the rest of us up here, I didn't get a chance to know Bob until the campaign. And it was from those 2 forums and then those early council meetings, I really found out some things about Bob that I know for sure about him. That, for one, I knew he definitely was ready to roll up his sleeves and work hard for Allen Park like he always has in his whole life as a police officer. And I knew, number 2, he was very proud of his family. And there wouldn't be a council meeting or a study session where he wouldn't go about saying at least something about his family. And for 3, I know he was a huge fan of University of Michigan. And as a graduate of Michigan State University, I was proud to say I finally had an ally that could really rally behind to go against that lovely team a little south of us in scarlet, red, and gray. But despite the little time I spent with Bob, I'm proud that I got a chance to meet him. I know he would have done fantastic things. His heart was definitely in the right place. He definitely left a mark on this city and left a mark on all of us on council. But like much things, he has gone home now, and guided by his faith and with the love of his family and those that he'll be forever missed. God bless Bob Stites and his family, and may he rest in eternal peace.
Mike, did you want to say anything?
I think a lot of it was already said, but I had known Bob for over 25 years, and he had well over 30 years involved in this city, and it's always sad when people have been dedicated for that long. And unfortunately, over the last year or 2, a lot of good people who've served this community. So just you never know. Wow. Again, it's unfortunate, but it's just. I just wish his family well, and may he rest in peace.
Thank you. I think I've communicated on several media things. I first heard about it that morning, oddly enough, from a friend of mine out in Adrian who was a classmate of his at Melvindale High School. She texted me at about 8 o'clock in the morning to tell me he had passed. And while I didn't know him as long or as well as many, many people here in Allen Park, I had a really profound sense of sadness and loss, because I had worked with him on the Festivities Committee Street Fair and at Made in Michigan, and really appreciated the work that he did for this city. And if you had a question as to what to do at one of those functions, he was right there taking care of business. And I so was looking forward to 4 years working with him, getting to know him better, just seeing what he could do for this city. And we went to a DCC meeting together, and I had appointed him as my alternate. And when we left, he was so kind to say, thank you, for having me attend tonight, and I'm looking forward to the next meetings and the things I can do. And that is what I feel the saddest about, is that all the things he could have done. A great loss to the city, and personally to me. Thank you. On to organizational business. According to our city charter, as most of you have read, when we have a vacancy such as has just occurred, the charter indicates that the council shall, by a majority vote of its remaining members, fill the vacancy at the next regularly scheduled council meeting with the unsuccessful candidate for city council who had the highest vote at the last city election and who wishes to serve. With that, we approached Mr. Blevins, who finished 7th, and he is willing to serve. And so I will entertain a motion for the appointment of Charles Blevins to the city council seat.
Motion.
Motion by Pam Syke, second.
Second.
Second by Tony Lawley. All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? The motion is carried. We will now swear in Mr. Blevins. Oh, I'm sorry. I'm sorry. I didn't look at my notes. I forgot Chief Wilkowitz.
Chief might not be the happiest person right now.
I'm sorry.
Good evening, Mayor and Council. I just wanted to say a few words about Bob Stites' passing. I first met Bob, oddly enough, about 5 days after I began working here, because I got hired on July 27th of 1995, and our street fair is always the first weekend in August. So one of my first official functions here was to work the street fair. So I met Bob right off the bat when we used to set up our display there at Philomene, and then later on in the day he would be working at the city beer trailer and things along that nature. So I really associate Bob in my entire career here with the street fair and festivities and things like that. And got to know him over the years. We worked together on the police department for 11 years, although we never really worked side by side because he had been here so much longer than I had been at that point. But once Bob was really active on the street fair and festivities committee, and I became the police chief, and then he became a council member, one of the things I reflect on is that when he would see me, he would always ask, "Hey, Wilk, how's things going over there? Do you guys need anything?" And, that's really what Bob was about. Not what you can do for me, but do you need anything? What can I do for you? And he, in reflection, spent his entire life that way. He gave to the youth of this community through APAC baseball. Obviously, festivities committee, street fair, Made in Michigan festival, all of that, volunteering his own time. Some of you may not know that, but there's a group called the Wayne County Lieutenant Sergeants and Corporals Association. That's a fraternal organization of police officers from, the whole area, even going up into Oakland County. And he was the secretary-treasurer, volunteered in that position for, I believe, over 30 years. So the city, they lost a giant in this community when he passed. And It's a large pair of shoes that were left empty and need to be filled. So rest in peace, Bob.
I didn't hear that. No.
Do you, Charles Blevins, do solemnly swear that you will support the Constitution of the United States and the Constitution of the State of Michigan, that you will endeavor to secure and maintain an honest and efficient administration of the affairs of the city of Allen Park, free from partisan distinction or control, and that you will perform the duties of city council person to the best of your ability, so help you God. Thank you. Charles, congratulations.
Nick, you slide over.
Yep.
And slide their nameplate.
Mike,
Yeah, slide it down.
you go down.
Next on the agenda is commission and committee appointments. May I have a motion for the following? I am recommending the following for appointment. So the Brownfield Redevelopment Authority, I want to reappoint Neil DeBlois and Paul Sander to terms which will expire December 31st, 2022. To the Historical Commission, Elizabeth Hardig to fill a vacancy which term will expire 12/31/2020. To the Planning Commission, I will reappoint David Babbage and Fred Frank to terms which will expire 12/31/2022. And I appoint Mike Muzinski, which term will expire 12/31/2022. And to the Zoning Board of Appeals, reappoint David Babbage and Neil DeBlois as an alternate. Terms will expire 12/31/2022. May I have a motion for those appointments?
Motion.
Motion by Pam Stites.
Support.
Support by Charles Blevins. All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion is carried. We will now swear in any of the new commissioners who are here. Please come forward.
Okay, as you probably heard, I'm not going to make it recite it after me. Just at the end, say you swear you do or you affirm whatever you feel comfortable with. Right. All right, raise your right hand, please. You solemnly swear that you will support the Constitution of the United States and the Constitution of the State of Michigan, and that you will endeavor to secure and maintain an honest and efficient administration of the affairs of the city of Allen Park, free from partisan distinction or control, and that you will perform the duties of Zoning Board of Appeals member, Brownfield Redevelopment member, Historical Commissioner, and Planning Commissioner to the best of your ability, so help you God. All right. You're all set. I'll come hand these to you in 1 minute when I sign.
Okay.
Congratulations.
Once again, as I did at our last council meeting when we did a number of appointments and reappointments. I want to thank all of you for volunteering to serve on these commissions and boards. Not everyone was able to come tonight to be sworn in, and they will be sworn in at a later date by Mike. But again, we want you to know how much we appreciate the service you are giving to your community as a volunteer. Again, as I did last time, if there's any current commission members that are in attendance from these organizations, if you would just please stand up so that your friends and neighbors can see who else is participating. And the ones who are new here tonight, I'm going to repeat what I said before. You play an important role in what goes on in this city and improving our city and how it functions and making this a more attractive place where people want to live and raise their families. Again, we are still updating our commission lists. I plan on publicizing commissions and committees where we have vacancies or we would like to have a roster of people who are interested, and we'll give you information on what they do, when they meet, and I encourage you to consider volunteering. Speaking for myself, I have found that over the years, volunteering is very contagious, and it is also very beneficial, and you meet a lot of really great people. So thank you again. Our next order of business is in accordance with city charter, and it is appointment and set the rate of $22.75 for the Board of Review, and this was submitted to us by our Deputy Assessor. Per the city charter and Michigan compiled laws, excerpts stated on pages that were provided, the recommendation was made for the following persons to be appointed to the 2020 Board of Review. All of the recommended persons are either business and or residential property owners in the city of Allen Park, and these terms are for 1 year and they're done annually. The appointees are Mr. Kenneth Lieber, appraiser, Mr. Timothy O'Neill, appraiser, and Mr. Paul Andrus. May I have a motion?
Motion.
Motion by
Second.
Mr. Lloyd, second by Mr. Schleck. Are there any discussion, questions? Hearing none, all in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion is carried. And now we come to the city administrator's report.
Good evening, Mayor, Council, residents of Allen Park. Just a couple brief updates on what we've got going on here at City Hall. The Finance Department has distributed the budget timeline for the 2020-2021 budget year that will begin July 1st. I have attached that for the council's review as well. The proposed budget will be provided to the City Council on April 14th, and we'll need to schedule a study session for the 21st of April and a public hearing for the 28th, and those will be coming at a later time for those to be added on to the council calendar. Tom Murray is working with Wayne County to get some attention over on Outer Drive near Fairlane, Fairlane Drive. So Outer Drive and Fairlane Drive, where the turn lane is at, the pavement's really in rough shape right there as you go up to the hill. So he's working with them to try to get some temporary pavement in there, and then hopefully a long-term solution sometime this summer. One of the things that, this is something Councilman Blevins had preached before, call Wayne County. If you can call Wayne County, if you can call the 1-800, the 1-888 number, or or Commissioner Baydoun's office, anybody at Wayne County, to let them know that these roads need to see some attention. The number for Wayne County roads is 1-888 road crew. It's 1-888-762-3273. We'll get that up on the Facebook page and up on the city website page as well. But if you can call those numbers, let them know that the roads here in Allen Park do need some attention from Wayne County. Greatly appreciate it. And we'll keep our working from Tom's efforts through his contacts with the DCC groups that meet with the Wayne County representatives on a monthly basis. Also, the administration is reviewing the RFP submittals for the Allen Park Theater project. Later this week, we have a couple meetings with some of the groups that have already submitted proposals. We just need a better clarification of their proposals. Once the administration has those and we feel satisfied that the proposals meets the requirements of the RFP, we'll get those forwarded on to the city council for the next steps on that. Just want to take note that the following employees have reached a milestone with the city of Allen Park. Jeff Miller in our police department reached 25 years yesterday, and Christopher Clark in the fire department reaches 5 years on February 9th. As the mayor just talked about how great it is to be a commissioner, I can't echo that enough. And in fact, we're working on a commissioner appreciation dinner with a tentative date of April 23rd. So if you maybe get on a commissioner real quick, we'll get you into a dinner and go from that point. So, but we do definitely need some additional commissioners in various areas.
More incentive.
Absolutely, we'll try anything to get you in here. We'll buy you a meal. So I just want to take a real quick moment to talk about Councilman Stites. I was kind of anxious and excited when Councilman Stites got elected because it meant that there was 3 of us sitting at this table that were Melvindale graduates. And I thought, well, maybe, just maybe, we were starting to infiltrate the system, Joe. And but we got set back there. That's okay. And as I was getting dressed this morning, I looked in the tie rack and what am I going to pick out? And I had to go with the Michigan football tie. And because I know Councilman Stites is a huge Michigan fan. I think if I'm not mistaken, Mr. Katie pointed out that they were playing the fight song during the entire, at the funeral home. And so for Councilman Stites, I'll give one more Go Blue. And we'll be thinking about him at the big house come September next of 2020 here. And all the games from then on, I always have in my memory. So as I go cheer on the Wolverines, always a Go Blue for Bob Stites.
Are there any questions regarding the administrator's report? May I have a motion to accept and file the report?
Motion.
Motion by Mr. Blevins. Second? Second by Mr. Lloyd. Oh, your mouth was moving.
It's ventriloquist.
All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion is carried. Before we get to public comments, I've asked the Historical Commission to give us a brief presentation on what they do. We're going to start doing things of this nature, similar to what we are doing with some of our departments coming in and explaining what their function is. So since we have an inductee into the commission this evening, I thought it would be appropriate.
Good evening, Mayor, Council. First, I'd like to give my condolences to the Stites family and prayers. And also congratulations to Charles. I don't know if everybody knows, but Charles just came from our Historical Commission and also Pam's site. So we're doing something right, putting people on the commission. The mayor asked me to give a couple, explain what our commission does, and I thought I'd throw a little history in there. The Historical Commission was formed by the city in 1971, and the duties of the Historical Commission, basically 4 different things. Acquire ownership or control of landmarks and historical property. 2, act as trustees for historic records and materials. 3, carry on educational, cultural, civic, and historical activities related to the city of Allen Park. 4, cooperate with other organizations in creating interest in Allen Park history. So pretty self-evident things. And we're working on all those different things in the city. The Historical Commission, we have a museum. It's a pretty nice museum. The Historical Commission operates the City Museum. It's one of, or the oldest structures still standing in the city of Allen Park. It's built in 1888. The house that that functions as a city museum was built by the Backus family, which was originally settled the city of Allen Park. And they built the house, and it's pretty solid house. It's located on 15508 Englewood, which is kind of near the Lutheran Church in Cabrini over there, off of Park. The city originally purchased that location in 2001. In the last 2 years, we've really been doing a lot of extensive renovations over there. We replaced the water heater, which was really about to go. We put in a new HVAC system. Original chimneys were rebuilt. And we just got a new roof and gutters put on the structure, which was way overdue. Originally, the old shaker shingles were on the house, and 2 layers of asphalt shingles were on top of that. So it really needed a new roof. And so we got that done last year, and that was with help from the Allen Park Citizen Civics Fund. They really came through and helped us on that project. So we have some more work slated for this year. A lot more renovation. We have the big projects would be paint removal from the brick on that building, and to redo the porches back to kind of how they were historically. Interior upgrades and exterior upgrades, some different things. And the commission's tasked with acquiring, collecting, and exhibiting all the historical material, equipment, and other things necessary for the effective operation of the city museum. And we also work with historical organizations like the Downriver Historical Organization, which is a group of other museums in the Downriver area. We do go to meetings with them and work out how we can help each other, inner city help, and kind of see what problems or solutions are working with our museums. And we also work with the Michigan Historical Society and a few other the different historical preservation organizations to preserve and exhibit the city history in the city of Allen Park. So that's kind of just a brief overview of what we do. We have a really good group. We have now 9 commissioners out of 10 that are on our commission right now. Good group of people, and we're all hardworking. And if there's anyone out there in the city that is interested in volunteering, we always will take the help. And I'd like to invite all the council and mayor, once kind of the weather gets a little bit better, stop by the museum when you get a chance. We're open every Wednesday, 1:30 to 4:30, and every second Saturday of the month, 1:30 to 4:30. And we just got a schedule of events and fundraisers that we're doing for the year, and that'll be out in different places in the city. So we just kind of approved that at our last meeting. So kind of be on the lookout for that kind of stuff, and got some fun things planned this year. So hope to see everybody from the city and council and mayor. Hope to see you come over to the museum, and that's it.
Well, thank you very much. Does anyone have any questions they'd like to ask of Scott?
Just a comment. It was a great one meeting I got to attend. So, but thank you for what you guys do at the historical museum house, and thank you.
Thank you, Scott.
Okay, thanks.
Okay, now we have public comments. If anyone would like to come up and speak, you have 4 minutes to do so. And if anyone has any questions that will require us to get back to you, there should be forms up at the podium with a pen. If you would leave your information and give it to the clerk, and we will definitely get back to you. Thank you.
Good evening. Dennis Hayes. I'd like to echo and associate myself with all the kind remarks about Bob Stites. I knew Bob fairly well over the years. I had occasion to confer with him on a lot of matters. I was very aware of his commitment to the community, especially the street fair and other things. And I had the happy occasion, on a sad occasion, to be present at his funeral, like some of you and some of you out there. And to piggyback on the Michigan theme, I think if I recall on the altar, the flowers had yellow roses, the pallbearers had yellow roses, so it was definitely a Michigan theme. They didn't play the fight song in church, but Father Joe Malia came back from our former pastor at Cabrini came back, which was quite a tribute to the family. And also Tom Creed at Martinson Funeral Home gave a nice little impromptu quasi-eulogy at the end, which was very nice. But my primary reason for coming tonight was to, on an unhappy occasion, see some good in a bad thing. Seeing Charles elevated to the vacant seat, I think, should be a very positive thing for our community. Charles, in my estimation, has been one of the most impressive, positive contributors to our community over the years. Charles has been coming to these meetings all the while I was on council, which was a number of years ago, and continued to come and worked hard, went out there, knocked on doors. He came in 7th, but there was a great panel. Look at the people up here, you know, great panel of people to run against. And he's a young man, but I think he's going to contribute a great deal. Charles has always evinced a very, very positive, supportive approach. Some of us, myself probably notably, can be a little negative at times, be a little argumentative at times. But Charles may feel those ways sometimes, but is a better man than I, because he's able to conceal any emotion that's not totally positive from the rest of us. And that's a real attribute I think we should all aspire to. And while I'm here, I should make mention that I ran into a guy who I think is a great contributor to our city. Don Graham's sitting out here. I don't know what the commission he's on, building commission, zoning commission, all the commissions. But he is a singularly bright, knowledgeable expert. And Charles is a young, new arrival, and the rest of you too, for that matter. If you ever have any questions about city zoning, building codes, any of that stuff, do call on Don. He's always taking my phone calls, always very polite. You ever go to one of his meetings, it's the best run meeting I've ever seen, because he never lets it get out of hand. Thank you very much. You're finished now. Thank you. Sit down, and we'll carry on. But he's a great guy, and I love seeing you, Don. God bless you. And Charles, best of luck to you and the best of the rest of the council. Thank you very much.
No one else? Well, then we will close public comments and go on to our consent agenda. Consent agenda consists of claims and accounts and the payroll report. May I have a motion to adopt?
Motion.
Motion by Mr. Schlack. Second, please.
Second.
Second by Mr. Lloyd. Are there any questions, comments? Hearing none, all in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion is carried. And we go on to resolutions. The first resolution is a resolution to authorize the mayor and city clerk to sign the loan agreement with Comerica Bank on behalf of the city of Allen Park for the new water meters in the amount of $1,035,500 for 2 years. May I have a motion?
Motion.
Motion by Ms. Syke, second.
Second.
Second by Mr. Lloyd. Are there any questions?
Just to clarify, this is something that was similar seen on last agenda, but we just had to update.
Correct.
Correct. The resolution from Miller Canfield was not available at that time, so this is just a follow-up to that with the Miller Canfield.
Okay. Thank you.
So terms are still the same, nothing's changed.
Absolutely. Thank you.
I don't think, we didn't gain any more interest, no.
No.
Remember last time we gained a little bit of interest on the.
Yeah. Going to pay very little interest on that amount of money.
Yeah,
I think
no,
it was
definitely.
under $20,000, if I'm not mistaken.
2.2% on $1 million.
Yep.
Right. We should all be so lucky.
We should.
May I have a vote? All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Resolution has been approved. Second resolution is to approve the agreement with Savone Cement for the fire department drain and concrete replacement at a cost of $9,975 from account number 4010009854002, and to waive the city bid process as there is no economic benefit to rebid with Savone Cement. And Chief LaFond is going to explain this to us.
I'll make a motion.
And,
He's going to,
well, for discussion, right?
Oh,
you want to explain it first, or do we want to do the motion first?
Let's get the motion on the table.
All right, Tony, all right. Thank you, Tony. Second?
Second.
Second is Mr. Blevins, okay.
Essentially,
Now
we
let's-
have a drain that runs the entire width of our station inside the engine bay. So that when in the winter and inclement weather, when the trucks come in, water has somewhere to drain, and it's also where we wash the trucks. The drain is original to the building, so it's 3 years old. It's gotten to the point where the actual metal grates that the trucks drive over and everything have deteriorated to the point where they need replacement. We can't remove them anymore to clean the drain, and so the best way to go about it is what Mr. Savone has proposed here. They're gonna have some new grates made up for us, fix the concrete around it, grind it smooth, and it'll eliminate the trip hazard and the issue we have with them getting it out to so we can clean it. That's about it.
Is it going to interfere with station functioning at all, or?
It will some. We'll work around it. He's got some ideas on to build some ramps so we can actually still back the trucks in over the drain. So,
Okay.
Yeah, he's aware that we can't close. So,
Good to know.
yeah. They actually are the ones that poured our ramp 30 years ago that needs to be replaced again now. But so he's used to dealing with this sort of thing, keeping half our station functioning and that sort of thing.
So you're also going to be doing the approach, correct?
Possibly next budget year, if I can squeeze enough money out of Bob and my capital. He's eyeballing me, isn't he?
He is.
See, I got support up here, though. He wants it.
This green issue was also the culprit of a work comp issue.
It was.
With one
We
of
have
our
had an
firefighters,
injury
too.
due to this, so it was time that it got fixed.
Good.
How long does it take something like this to fix?
I think Mr. Savone said 2 to 3 days.
Oh,
Yeah, it's going to be a pretty quick operation. They'll have all of the new grates and everything all manufactured beforehand, on place, on site, and then it's just a matter of doing one side, getting that to cure enough so we can park trucks on that side, and then switching and doing the other side. So,
sounds good.
Any other questions? May I have a vote? All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Resolution is approved.
Thanks,
very
Chief.
much.
Thank you.
Hey, council comments.
I suppose I'll start. So I guess in these situations where we, it is very much a bittersweet day. And it's kind of caused me to be a little reflective. Especially we have all of our commissioners here that are doing a wonderful job contributing to the city. Mr. Blevins, Councilman Blevins, I started coming to these, around May last year, and Charles every single time got up and, like Mr. Hayes said, got up and was saying positive things about the city of Allen Park. And I guess the sentiment that I'm left here with Charles now joining us up here in council and with all our commissioners here in the audience, and with the sad loss of our colleague, Councilman Stites, that I'm left with this feeling that it's kind of a crazy, chaotic world out there, but we all have the opportunity to make our little corner of it a little bit better, a little bit nicer, a little bit more organized. And everybody that is assembled in this room today, every single person that is here, and even the people that are watching at home, and many of the people that aren't with us, are working every single day to make that happen. And I have 5 nieces and nephews that live in this city that I'm hoping will inherit it from us. And I'm just left with this impression that there is just so many wonderful people in the city, and I only know a small handful of them, and I have the good fortune of meeting more every single day. And I'm very fortunate to have known Councilman Stites. I'm very fortunate to sit up here with not only my fellow council people, but my fellow elected officials, our Mr. Mizzy, Ms. Armstrong, and our great city administrator and the city attorney. And I am just very appreciative of that. So I want to say to everybody that takes the time to try to make this little corner of the world a little bit nicer, a little bit safer, a little bit more pleasant place to live. Thank you very much. I'm deeply and very much appreciative of it.
Go ahead if you want.
Well, I just want to echo what Councilman Lloyd said and thank all the commissioners that have come forward and continually to do work of the city. And thanks once again to our fire department and police department for everything that you do on a daily basis. And congratulations to our newest councilman. I'm sure he's going to do a great job, and I have never met a person, at least in government, that's been more positive, and I think everyone up here can echo that. And once again, thanks for the public that came out, and feel free to always reach out to us if we can help you make our city a little better. That's why we're up here, to be your voice, so don't forget that. Other than that, I will see you in February. Have a good night.
My turn now?
Sure.
I'd like to echo Dan and Gary Schlack about Councilman, it's hard for me to say, Bob Stites. I'm going to miss that man. He's a good man. We had a good friendship going for a while he lasted. But anyway, I want to congratulate Charles Blevins. It's not a good way to come in, but I tell you what, you will be an asset to this council. I've known you for about 16 years almost. Well, 12, 13 years for sure. You used to come to the meetings all the time. Very nice. I respect you. I know you're going to be an asset in this council. Thank you. And I want to thank you, Ace, for coming up there and saying the good words about Bob and Charles Blevins. And I want to thank the Chief of Police, Wilkinson, and Lieutenant Egan, and the fire department to keep us safe while we sleep at night. It's a wonderful thing that we have the police and fire the way we got it today. I know they will keep up the good work, the job well done, boys. May Godspeed with you too, because I want you guys to be safe. I want to say in a better note, the mayor and I decided we're going to have a parade this year in Allen Park.
Memorial Day.
You know,
Memorial Day. Not just
Memorial
any parade.
Day. Every day is one. We have a Memorial Day parade. It's unofficial, well, it'll probably be official, the 24th of May. So mark your calendars. And the festivities committee don't know it yet, but they're the ones that are going to help me out, because I don't know anything about parade. I know how to march the parade. We'll take care of business, and we're going to get together and we'll see what we could do. And we'd like to get all the fraternal organizations in Allen Park, the churches, all the churches, Boy Scouts, city officials, everybody. We're going to have a nice day. Hopefully it's a beautiful day. And I want to thank all of you for coming to the meeting. It makes us look good and makes us look at you guys and think what we have to say before we say anything. You know what I'm saying? Okay. God bless you. Thank you.
Okay, I guess it's my turn. It definitely was a bittersweet moment when Charles found out that he was going to be coming on to council. And while I did not know Councilman Stites as well as I know Charles, I'm saddened by his loss, but I do know that Charles is going to do an excellent job for the city council, because both he and Bob shared a love for Allen Park and its residents. Now, as far as Charles goes, I've known Charles since he was a young man in high school. So I've seen him on very different events and different lights. And I can say that I honestly saw this man grow from a young high schooler to the man that he is today, and that he is going to do an excellent job. I have the utmost faith in Charles, and I welcome him to the commission. And then the next, I'd like to say something about the commissions. They play a vital role, and the Historical Commission is one that I served on, and I feel very happy and I'm appreciative that we have a place to go and reflect upon our history. And I hope all of you take time, now that it's open Saturdays, to make it out there and participate in some of the events. My favorite was always mine. It was, if you notice, a giant ice cream cone. That I painted that so that we could have a ice cream social. And what I like about the ice cream social that the Historical Society Commission has is that it's a time that we get to visit our neighbors. We reflect, we have ice cream, we sit around and play games, just like we would have done many years ago. And it's a way to bring us all together. And I do appreciate everyone that volunteers their time. And, I did go this weekend to see a play from Creative Characters. It was last Friday. And they did an excellent job. It was Junie B. Jones, and she had 47 participants. It's definitely a program that's benefits the residents of Allen Park, and they had over 300 people each night. So it was an excellent experience. And with that, I would like to say, may God bless all of you, and that you have a wonderful and safe week. Thank you.
I just wanted to remind everyone that we will be collecting taxes through the end of February. So come on down and pay them. And thank you all for coming.
Thank you, Mayor. I'll be quick here. First of all, again, I echo almost all of what was said about Councilman Stites, and I'd like to congratulate Mr. Blevins. He has been coming around. He's very knowledgeable of what goes on at these meetings, and I'm very proud he jumped right in on his pretty much right away to get a support on those commissions. Good job, Charles. On another note, a little more serious, not as depressing as taxes, but almost, is I want to go over some things with the presidential primary election, going to be held May 10th. I hope Matt has the camera. I've been doing elections now for just about 25 years in Allen Park, and the absentee envelopes have always looked identical to the way they were yesterday. Okay, I just want to point out that these are the new envelopes, okay? Thank you, Sue. This is what your ballot's going to come in, and this is what you're going to return it in. Again, a lot of people say, oh, okay, but when you've spent decades and decades remembering the manila envelope and saying, oh, that's an absentee envelope, it's changing. Again, the blue one is going to come to your house. The green one you're going to return to us signed with the ballot in it. I'll be pushing this almost every other meeting till after the presidential primary. Someone's like, their envelopes. No, again, I can't stress how important it is that you recognize these and do not throw them out, because they will have official ballots in them. Again, blue coming to your house, green coming back to the city, okay? I will do this again and again, I repeat, again and again, until everybody in this city understands they have changed.
We're going to make a music video, Mike. We'll make it
And
look like.
I will be doing it, but again, when you're used to one thing, I just, to me, a ballot is one of the most sacred things in the world, and other clerks who, they already know that some have been thrown out, you know, when they start. So I just ask, please remember these envelopes.
So
Blue coming to you.
So Michigan comes to the house and Michigan State goes out of it.
There's a way to look at it.
Whatever it takes.
They designed this one in Ann Arbor and this one in Lansing. So, again, blue's coming to your house. Green, mail back to us with the ballot sign. Sorry, it's just... So, and again, congratulations, Chucky. I have to laugh. Charles. I'm still thinking about these envelopes, not gonna lie. But I have another thought. The last person that I've ever sworn in to a already elected council was actually sitting back there, Ms. Gavarecki, so it's good to see you. So it's kind of like you're both here. It's really cool. That's how our process works. Continuity of government. So with that, blue, coming to your house. Green, return back to us. Sorry. Thank y'all for coming out. God bless you and good night.
Good evening. It's been a week. And you're gonna hear a lot of ums. I'm sorry. It's when I first found out about Councilman Stites, I was actually at work, and I keep it just over and over and over again. My heart and thoughts and prayers go to his family. I actually knew his kids back in high school, and one thing I know about Bob was he was very passionate about the city. I always say a great place to work, live, and play, and he did all of that. He lived here, he worked here, and when he played, he liked to be on that golf cart at the street fairs, driving around and having a good time. Same with the safety town as well. He will be truly missed. I can't say I'm more of Michigan fan than State. Sorry, Gary, but I will do my best to always, every time making votes, I've always think about him, that he's still here in spirit. Next, I want to thank of those who came out tonight. Like I said, it's been a bittersweet moment. I've been coming to these meetings, like Tony said, I've been coming since Richard Hubler was our mayor. And I always tell people to always come up here and speak, because your voice does matter. And I hope being on council now, that it will bring a change with everything. Just to reintroduce myself, I'm a lifelong resident for 28 years. I just had my birthday last month. And pretty much coming to these meetings half of my life, seeing 3 different city halls, seeing most of you now in the audience that were on council at one point, and the amount of love I've had this past week congratulating me, and it's such an honor to now be up here to represent this great city. I can't wait to work with each and every one of you, the department heads, committees, commissions. It's going to be such an honor, and yeah, my 4 minutes are up. I just want to say thank you to all of those who went out and supported me throughout the last election. I ran 4 years ago as well, and the big thing was to never give up on what you believe in. I want to thank my siblings for always being there for me. My father, who's here in spirit, I'm actually wearing his tie. And my strongest supporter, my mom, who's here tonight. She was there at the Meet the Candidate nights. No, Siri.
It's his own phone.
She was there for all the Meet the Candidate nights. She had surgery during the mayor candidate August primary, and then she's the strongest person ever. And I always try to think of that as try to get that with me and try to be strong up here right now. But thank you, Mom, for always being there for me. And I just want to say, lastly, go tomorrow and call a friend or neighbor or person, because you don't know what tomorrow will bring. And love is love, and like I've always said up there, stay positive, and I hope I can make the city of Allen Park proud. Thank you.
Matthew. First, let me explain. Okay. I came from a school board meeting in Woodhaven, Brownstown, because I was obtained board approval today to start a brand new teaching adventure for me, working at Woodhaven High School, teaching special education there. So as important, I don't shuck my duty in regards to my city council position. I rushed immediately after that school board meeting. Of course, just like we run into issues or problems there, they had some disagreements that they wanted to discuss as well. And I didn't want to just leave and up because, like I said, it was pretty important for me to be there in regards to a new point in my career as an educator. And then, of course, there was an accident at 75 in Dix. Yeah. So as if I'm making excuses, I'm not. I sat behind a big diesel tank truck gas hauler for 15 minutes in a parking lot on 75. So it feels odd sitting in this seat. I don't necessarily like it. I was more than comfortable over here. Nothing against you. I know I missed the moment of silence for Bob. He will be deeply missed. Him and I, on both during the campaign and everything, we connected and bonded almost immediately. A lot of things we shared in regards to being at University of Detroit, Mercy colleges, and then also our love for Michigan, all things Wolverines. So I take great pride in sitting in this seat where he sat, and I just hope to respect everything that he stood for in my role on council, as well as everyone's role. We just want to do right by the citizens of Allen Park, and I'm honored to be up here in this seat especially. So once again, I apologize for being late, but at least I got here in time to make some comments. So thank you.
Well, I'm going to be brief because I think anything I say right now is going to be rather anticlimactic and has already been said. As I sat here and listened to the comments both earlier and now, I have a great feeling of pride. I'm proud to be sitting here with this group of people. I think this is an excellent team. I think we will do very good things for you. I think we all know how to work together. We have the right motives for being here. We have empathy, we have sympathy, we have feelings. It's also nice to see that even in moments where there's sadness, there can be laughter. Life does go on. We have to deal with a lot of things, many people do, unexpected. Appreciate all of you so much for being here. Again, everyone who volunteers. And I think that's it for tonight. May I have a motion to adjourn?
So moved.
Second.
Mr. Lloyd, seconded by Mr. Lally. All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion is carried. We are adjourned. 7:05.